Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's that time again to make our League One predictions for the upcoming round of fixtures this weekend, which is game week 3. We'll obviously be doing a recap of last week's results first, as well, before we get into the predictions for this weekend. But before we do get into all of this, make sure you do smash that like button for me, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment your predictions down below. And finally, if you can help me out here, please go and vote for me in the Football Content Awards for Best New Content Creator. It's the final push to try and get shortlisted. It would be incredible to get shortlisted. So any help would be greatly appreciated. The link to vote is in the description of this video. So big up to you all. And let's get into the video then. So here we are. Then let's recap game week 2 briefly, which I'll put up on screen now as we go through each result and see which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong. So look, Port Vale versus Cardiff City finished 0-0. Now, I did actually go for a draw in this one, but I actually went for 1-1. So I got this one wrong, but look, just quickly talking about the game. I mean, look, that game was so good last Thursday. How Port Vale didn't win this one is beyond me. They had so many chances. They deserved to win that match. I did feel a bit sorry for them, really. It was such an entertaining game. You know, Cardiff certainly rode their luck and didn't deserve to get a point out of that one at all. So yeah, look, Port Vale, if they keep performing like that, then again, I do believe that they will give themselves a good chance to stay up, but obviously they do need to take their opportunities if they are to keep themselves in this division. But they can take confidence from that. And yeah, obviously, I just really, really enjoyed the game. I thought it was a brilliant game as a neutral to enjoy. So yes, next up then is, of course, ourselves. We did beat Reading 2-0 away from home. This game was such a tight one, wasn't it, for the most part? But we were creating the more chances than them throughout the match. Obviously, they were having the odd chance from the counter-attack as well. But our dominance in the chances created, like I say, told in the end when we scored our opening goal in the 74th minute of the match. And we never looked back from then. Obviously, we went on to double our lead in injury time. Cameron Ashia, what a superstar. Another win, another clean sheet, sitting top of the league. Cannot complain at all. The reality is, in these type of games, when they are a bit tight for the most part, you've got to make sure you switched on defensively and stay solid at the back. We did that, and then we kept creating opportunities, and eventually one did go in, and I felt like this game, the first goal would have, that first goal in this match, I feel like there was going to be, I felt like it was going to be the team that went on to win it. That's the kind of game I felt like it was. So yes, first prediction right of game week 2. So let's get into the next game then. So Peterborough versus Luton, of course, which finished 2-0 to the visitors, Luton Town. I got this one wrong. I thought it was going to be a draw. A game which Luton took their chances ultimately, and Peterborough just look so poor, don't they? They look so poor defensively as well, all over the place, not offering much going forward either. And yeah, they are in for a long season. But Luton, do you know what I mean? Started the season strongly, and yeah, that's all I'm really going to say about it. Next up was Wycombe versus Stockport, which, look, another game that I actually got wrong. I did think that Stockport would win. I thought it would be more comfortable than it actually was. I went for a 2-0 scoreline, but it was actually 2-1 in the end to Stockport. Now, obviously, Stockport did look comfortable in this one throughout, to be fair. Got their 2-goal cushion, scoring the second one in the 51st minute. I think the scoreline makes it sound closer than it actually was. Wycombe pulled a late goal back. They missed a penalty before that as well. But honestly, I just feel sorry for Wycombe fans. You have to put up with the likes of Mike Dodds as your manager. And as I've already alluded to, he is such a bad manager. I cannot believe the board at Wycombe have kept him on. I don't care how long he had. I don't care if he came in halfway through the season last season. I don't care. He was terrible from the moment he stepped through the door at Wycombe, from what I saw. And he should have been sacked at the end of last season. But look, they're going nowhere with him as well. So the Wycombe fans have to ride this one out and keep having results like this, continuously losing games, and he's going to be sacked sooner rather than later. But for Stockport, look, they were just, it was just another professional, strong performance from them. And they have got 6 points from 6, like ourselves and like Luton as well. So their pace is setting already from the teams at the top, and other teams will have to make ground if they want to catch up to us. Now, up next, it was Exeter versus Blackpool, which I got completely wrong, badly wrong. It finished 4-1 in the end in this game, and I actually thought that Blackpool were going to win 3-1. So I got this one wrong. Not very good with the predictions last week, guys, at all. I generally thought Blackpool were going to win this game, but the way they're leaking goals right now is ridiculous. So maybe I shouldn't have as much faith going forward in them than I maybe had, in this game week 2. Conceding 7 goals in 2 matches is horrendous. That is the worst. That is the worst out of any team in this division at the moment. And full credit to Exeter, who, look, I clearly underestimated before the match, and they were good value for their win. They deserved it. But I do think Blackpool's defence helped them massively as well, to be honest. But they still took their chances very well, Exeter, so fair play to them. But Blackpool, I don't know, they brought in defenders and they're still leaking goals, so I don't really know what's going on there. But the pressure is certainly starting to mount on Steve Bruce already, I would say. But look, good win for Exeter, and that kickstarts their season. So let's see what they do moving forward. Up next, Barnsley versus Burton. Sorry, Barnsley got the home, weren't they? This game, guys, was unbelievable, wasn't it? Now, I got the score prediction wrong. Standard. I went for a 1-1 draw. It ended up finishing 3-2 to Barnsley. What a match. This was the match of the weekend. I think this game was just unbelievable, wasn't it? Burton were in dreamland at half-time, going 2-0 up. But in the second half, completely fell apart defensively when they were put under pressure. That early goal within 10 minutes of the restart helped them. But when you just 10 minutes of the restart hardly helped them. But when you just thought, Burton still may have got a point after Barnsley equalised 10 minutes after their first goal went in, they conceded late into injury time to go home, make that long trip back to Burton empty-handed. But they still have themselves to blame. But full credit to Barnsley. They came back, they fought back. That shows that they've got character in that team. And Burton, to be fair though, were all over the place in that second half. So I don't know what was said at half-time, but clearly the game plan didn't work going into that second half. But look, gutting one for Burton, but Barnsley continue their strong start as well. They as well have won both their opening league fixtures. So yes, see how that develops. Now, my prediction for the next game, which was of course Doncaster versus Mansfield. Doncaster won this game 2-1. I thought Doncaster would win, but I only went for the 1-0 scoreline for them. But yeah, look, Donny ended up winning the game 2-1, like I said, after going 1-0 down as well, by the way, just before the hour mark. They turned it around, equalising in the 76th minute, and then they went on to get a very, very late winner deep into injury time. And it was another big win for them. So fair play. They've had a fantastic start to life back in League One, one of the promoted sides. And yeah, full credit to them. They conceded. But I think another example of what I said about Barnsley, Doncaster showing character, that the resilience they've got on their side. If they're up against the wall, they managed to get themselves out of that, equalise, and went on to win the match. So look, that will give them a big boost. But for Mansfield, they remain pointless, and it doesn't look good at all for them, does it at all? I just think they're going to really, really struggle, and they're going to be fighting for relegation. To be honest with you, this season, I just think it's going to be a long, long season. They just don't seem like they're going anywhere. Defensively poor. They're capable of the odd goal, but they just don't score enough either. So it's not good. But look, next up, Stevenage versus Rotherham, which finished 1-0. I got this one right, guys. That's another tick to my lack of good predictions last week. But yeah, look, Stevenage did go 1-0 up 5 minutes for half time. That was enough to see them get all 3 points. Rotherham didn't look like scoring all afternoon. They registered 0 shots on target. It was a shocking display. And but look, Stevenage, I didn't expect to see loads of goals in this game, but I thought Stevenage were going to win it, so that's why I went 1-0 to them. And the score came out for me. So, yeah, expected, poor from Rotherham. Their away form is just absolutely shocking, isn't it? So they need to fix up. Otherwise, they are going to be in a relegation battle before they know it. Now, next up was Wimbledon, of course, taking on Lincoln City, of course. Yeah. So look, I went for a 2-1 victory for Wimbledon. This one, they actually ended up winning by more than that. They won by 2-0, so they didn't concede. But look, I thought Wimbledon looked good, but I don't think, talk about Lincoln setting themselves up to fail, going down to 10 men in the opening 25 minutes of the match. Just so silly. Away from home as well. You're just putting yourself into the position of, you know what, you just basically handing the points to the home side by doing what they did. So Wimbledon capitalised on it, so fair play to them, went on to win the game. The crowd as well, I didn't watch the full game, but I watched the highlights, and you could see the crowd were proper buzzing, in terms of the atmosphere from the first minute. So they helped them, and I think it's going to be a difficult place to go this season, to be honest with you. And maybe, just maybe, I wrote them off too early, saying they'd finish bottom of the league in my predictions video I did a few weeks back. Because if they play like they have in their opening 2 games, they'll give themselves a big chance of staying up, let me tell you. So fair play to Wimbledon. You know what I mean? Getting them first points on the board. And they can now try and build on that. But for Lincoln, just have to move past this game. You got a red card in the opening 25 minutes of the game. Silly by the player that got sent off. Just move on and just try and react to that result. Up next, Bolton did win by 2-0 against Plymouth Argyle. Now, I got this one right. Another one that I got right. No surprise they won this game, Bolton, to be fair. Like, they were good value for it, obviously being the home side, but so they had that home advantage. But Plymouth, I mean, I thought they were going to be up there fighting at the top. That's what I did in my predictions, and they've started the season terribly, haven't they? There is big concerns down at Plymouth at the moment. You know what I mean? They need more players through the door, clearly. And they're struggling. They're struggling massively. And this isn't the start they wanted. Because when you've just been relegated, you want to start quickly. You want to start with some wins on the board early on. And they've managed to, you know what I mean, lose both of their games, which doesn't look good. Up next, Wigan versus Leyton Orient. And Leyton Orient were the home side. Wigan were away. I actually thought that Wigan were going to win 2-1 here. I was completely wrong. 2-0 to Orient in the end. And they were good value for it. Wigan all over the place at the back and didn't offer anything going forward either. And yeah, it was a very, very poor afternoon for them. But fair play to Orient. They capitalised on Wigan's frailties in this match, and they took their chances and they won the game 2-0. So big up to Orient. First points on the board for them, and that is it. So the final game was Northampton versus Bradford. I went for a 1-1 draw. It did finish a draw, but it was actually 0-0. And there's nothing really to say about this game, so let's just move on. Let's look at the league table and look at that, guys. Look at that. Top of the league, baby. And what a beautiful sight. The top of the table only matters right now, so I'm not even going to go down further down in the table, the top of the league. But look, let's get into the game week 3 predictions. This is your time to hear my predictions and get your predictions down below in the comment section as well. So we start with Burton versus Port Vale on Saturday lunchtime. This is an interesting game, isn't it? Because I feel like Burton will be coming into this one deflated, obviously after losing a 2-0 goal lead last week, whereas I feel like Port Vale are coming into this one in better spirits. Despite being disappointed they didn't get the win last week, which they thoroughly deserved, as I've already alluded to, they can still take confidence from it and from how they played. And I think they should fancy their chances going to Burton and getting all 3 points. So, basing off the things that I've just kind of said here, I'm actually going to go for an away victory. I've just got a feeling. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory to Port Vale. I just got a feeling that they will react positively to not getting a goal to give them the 3 points last week. They'll make sure they do this time, and it'll be a comfortable 1-0 victory. That's how I see it. Up next, Exeter versus Mansfield, another Saturday lunchtime game. Again, this matchup is one where Exeter will be high in confidence after winning last week 4-1. And Mansfield they're already on the floor. They're low on confidence, and I don't really see how they lift themselves. Of course, a result will lift them, but I don't see how they get that result to lift them. And like I said, they've started the season poorly, 2 losses out of 2. I don't see that changing in this one, unfortunately. It's you're going away to Exeter. I don't see that changing. I'm going to go for a home win. 2-0 to the Grecians. Up next, Leyton Orient taking on Stockport County. This is going to be an interesting game. It's going to be an exciting one, I think. Both sides coming to this on the back of wins. I feel like I said, this is going to be a very competitive match and a close game as well, I think. But I have to go with the side who have impressed me the most in the opening couple of games. So for that reason, I'm going for an away victory. I'm going to go 2-1 to Stockport. Up next, Doncaster Rovers taking on Wycombe Wanderers. Donny are back at home. And look, like I said, Doncaster have started the season so well. Everyone was saying they were going to, I know it's early days, but everyone was saying, they've not got a chance of staying up. A lot of fans were saying that. It was like, well, they're kind of just proving you wrong already. They start the season well, and they don't look out of place in this division early on. So the signs are positive. Wycombe, as we know, are dreadful. I don't know. I'm calling it. They're not going to win a game until they get rid of Mike Dodds. I'm just convinced. He's a shocking manager. But look, for me, I'm going to go for a home victory. I'm going to go for a clean sheet for Donny as well. I'm going to go 2-0 win for Donny. Indeed. And Wycombe, the pressure is going to keep mounting on Dodds. And it's only going to end one way. That's how I see it with their manager. Up next, Stevenage taking on Northampton. For me, this is going to be a low-scoring game again. Northampton, they look really poor at the back, but they also just don't seem to be posing a threat going forward either at the moment. Stevenage obviously won last week, so I think they're going to follow it up there at home again as well. So I think they're going to follow it up with another 1-0 victory for Stevenage, and that's how I see it. Up next, Barnsley versus Bolton, which I think this is going to be an exciting game. This is potentially the match of the weekend. Two teams who go into this one in full confidence. I feel like this is going to be a high scoring game. I just think both teams are capable of scoring, but I just think defensively they can be a little bit dicey. But I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. Goals galore. Fantastic game for the neutral, but I just think both sides will cancel each other out, and that's the way I see it going in this one. Oh, next, Wycombe Athletic versus Peterborough. A bit of a tricky one to predict this one, isn't it, to be honest? Because obviously Wigan are at home, but they kind of started, they won the first game, they've followed it up with a dreadful performance last week. Peterborough just looked very, very poor as well. I just think that Wigan being at home is going to give them the edge. I'm not going for a high-scoring one here. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory for the Latics. Up next, Lincoln City taking on Plymouth Argyle. Lincoln, who obviously are the home side. Plymouth in dire straits, in need of more quality in their team. And Lincoln are an okay side. They've got some good players. They've lost a few as well, but I just think them being at home, I just think it gives them the advantage. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Lincoln. So yeah, that's what I think. Up next, Reading versus Wimbledon then. Again, an interesting matchup here. Wimbledon will go to Reading and make it as difficult as possible, just like they did when they played Luton on the opening day. It's not going to be easy for Reading at all. And, when you do have those teams that do sit back and play a low block, you know what I mean? It's not easy to break down. Have Reading got the players to break that down? I think Reading are a side that like to have space and like to have teams that come at them, and then they can capitalize on that. But they won't have that in this one. Wimbledon are going to stay in there, show their defensive organisation and resilience, and keep tight like they did against Luton until the dying moments of that one. So I'm actually going to go for a draw. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think both sides will score, but I just think that, that's another kind of safe kind of prediction. Up next, Bradford taking on Luton. So both sides have started the season well. It's a bit of a tricky one to predict because Luton obviously are going away to Bradford, and it is a hostile place to go and play. It's going to be a tricky place for anybody to go this season, Bradford Stadium. But I just think basing it off the two sides and what's going on at the moment, I just think that Luton will just edge this one. At the back of my mind, I've just got a feeling. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Luton Town. Up next, then, we've got Cardiff versus Rotherham United. Both sides with points on the board at the moment, but Rotherham were terrible last week, and obviously Cardiff was also very poor. They got away with it last week, getting a point against Port Vale. But I do think that Cardiff being at home, I think we will see a better performance from them, and Rotherham, I just don't have much confidence in to get the result here either. I think it's going to be a 2-0 victory for Cardiff in this one. Next up, saving the best till last. We travel to Bloomfield Road to take on Blackpool. Yes, sunny Blackpool it will be this weekend. And a sold-out away end, and we are going to be making lots. It's going to feel like a home match. But look, we've started the season very, very well, and Blackpool have been the complete opposite. And not only that, they've conceded the most goals of any team, 7 goals in 2 games. They've lost both their matches as well in the process. And yes, things are not looking good for them early on. I thought they were going to have a good seat. I thought they were going to be up in the playoff with Blackpool. I thought they brought some players in. I thought, they looked good, but I've been proven wrong already. And of course, still early days, but I just can't really see it change. I'm feeling very confident that we will get the job done. I'm going to go for a big statement win that we're going to add to their misery of conceding goals. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory for the mighty Terriers. Let's go. But look, there we have it. That is your game week 3 predictions, all done and dusted. Let's see what unfolds over the weekend. So much drama in the EFL, as we know. And yes, can't wait to see what happens over the weekend, hopefully with 3 points for us. That's all I care about. But look, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Get your comments in of the predictions. Drop a like on the video as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I will see you all very, very soon. Take care.